Wee bit better weather of the day.
At least for us. Maybe not so much for the fishing, but...
Well, it was like this exact sort of conditions last year, so I'm not worried.
Even with the low water?
That's the problem, isn't it?
It's still low. It's went up a little tiny bit since our last session, but it's still clear, really clear. But that's good for chub. So we've been told. I've got my mindset on a chub today. I'll take anything. Take a bream.
Well, that's the thing, innit? Here you can really catch pretty much anything, but yesterday, or the video one from this autumn's trip to the Trent, where we are today, we're on familiar territory. Yesterday we went to a new spot in between two new spots we tried last time, back in when was it?
March.
And I'll be honest with you, it was shite. I didn't get a single one, knock, bite, nothing. You get one run and one fish. For what, 12 hours effort?
Yep. Horrible start.
It was a horrible start, but we were spoilt last autumn.
We've done alright in the past.
Well, to be fair, there's been guys messaged us that know that we come down twice a year. Guys that stay literally along the road and they've never caught 13, 14 pound fish, let alone your PB of 15. And they fish here all the time.
Pure jamminess, I think.
There's a bit of luck in that as well, but as you keep telling me, I need to give myself credit.
Aye.
We do alright. We do alright. We put in the effort, especially these trips. It's a lot of effort, planning, organisation, driving. The hardest part I'm finding is sitting about.
Catching fish.
No, I'm not catching anything.
That's why you find it hard.
What, catching fish?
I hope you got that.
Never mind. I can't hear him half the time. I'm going deaf.
But you are dead set on coming down to this swim this morning?
When they say I was dead set, I just get confidence in this swim. We've got a swim on a certain area we fish for perch. We call it confidence swim, and it's called that for a reason. Because every time we go there, we catch a decent fish. And this particular mark, Adam Rooney first brought us here when we first ventured down on our first ever trip to the Trent. And we caught fish, we caught chub, we caught nice barbel. If I remember right, you lost a big barbel at the end. So every time we come here...
Don't remember that.
I do. Every time we come here, we come to this mark, this peg as they call them down here. And we always do well. So again, it's like a confidence thing, isn't it? So I'm fishing the two same baits that I fished this time last year. A cheese and garlic dumbbell. And I've trimmed it down a touch, a smaller bit of spicy sausage luncheon meat. So we'll see how that goes the first couple of hours.
Yeah. I'm just going to fish pellets to start with. Might switch to maggots later on, if nothing happens, just to see if I change to smaller particles.
Bream.
Brings in the bream. Or a chub. My PB chub was caught in maggots.
So it was. So we have an idea for this video today. We'll see if it comes together.
Yeah. I like the sun. Could get used to this.
Us.
So if you watched our first episode of this trip, the last Barbel video, we spoke briefly about zander, maybe giving those another go. However, that didn't really get off the ground because we couldn't catch any bait. It wasn't the best area, I'm blaming that anyway, and it was incredibly windy. However, this looks much more promising. There's a lovely sort of gentle drop off here and there's some nice streamer weed if you look over to the right there. There's a few bits and pieces and there's loads of little fry in the margins, so I reckon we can maybe pick up some little roach or dace or bleak or even little chub, which would be ideal zander bait. It's a little size 18 hook, single maggot. We'll feed in little handfuls of maggots and hopefully get some bait. just a rod length out should be ideal. Oh, let's cut that bit out. So fishing just off bottom. There's plenty of fish there, you can see them topping. I'm just hoping that they're interested in some maggots. Just a little waggler set up. Might have been a bite there. Little roach, 2-3 inch roach. That's ideally what we're looking for. There's a little bleak just jumping out the water round about the float. Oh, there we go. Let's put this in. Ah, came off. I think that might have been a little bleak. Oh, that was a bite. They're that small that they can't even get a size 18 in their mouth, but there'll be some better ones. I say better, by that size kicking about. There we go. That's what we're after. Now that is perfect zander bait. Three-inch little roach. Nah, now we're cooking. Get a few more of those. Maybe dedicate a little bit more time to it tomorrow as well.
Can I get a wee shot so I can catch a fish?
No, you're not getting a shot. I remember the last time you did that. Yes, you can have a shot. It's the only fish you're going to catch today.
So yesterday I done this and I managed to cast it right over with my lines. I'm only doing this so I can get the blank off. What do we have?
Roach.
A wee roach. I'm putting this one back. The blank is off. There's one fish I've never ever caught, and that's a bleak. So incidentally, with this
Bite.
That's zander bait.
That's the zander bait.
I like it, man. I'm going to go a wee bit further out. Alex, you need your reels. Alex turns the camera off and look what happens. I catch a new species in the shape of Oblique. Things only looks oblique after all. That's the second round of baits put out. I've switched to the main line dumbbells, moved away from the meat and the garlic cheese dumbbell. Sticking to the 5 feeder fools. The barbel fishing for us, where did it start? We were talking about this the other day. This has been what, 4 years, 5 years probably we've been doing this, but initially you have to get way back to our feeder fishing days on Loch Lomond, where Alex received a message from a company that I had never, I'll be honest, never heard of. I'd heard of Coarse, the carp fishing, but I'd never heard of Guru. And they were looking for some help on Loch Lomond for targeting the roach. And Alex and I were mentioned. So we met up with a team of guys for Guru at Loch Lomond, and we showed them how we go about our feeder fishing on the loch. Now that resulted in the opportunity to help them again with a potential of a TV show they were putting together, and on the back of that they wanted to offer some sort of a payment, if you will. We didn't want payment, we were happy for the experience, and they were very reluctant to accept that, so they'd offered us a trip down to the River Trent as a token of appreciation. Now the River Trent and barbel fishing is something that, I'll be honest, Alex and I spoke very briefly a couple of times about. Love to have done it, was the words Alex used. I would love to do it. My knowledge and understanding of barbel fishing was like probably most people these days through YouTube. But I do remember watching my favourite John Wilson targeting them as well. Is it rolling meat they call it? Touch ledger and rolling meat down these small rivers. Watch guys like Graham Pullen doing it on YouTube. And then obviously probably one of the biggest channels that are going to now fish with Carol. Watched him doing it and it did kind of tickle my fancy. So he came down and actually be shown by Matt Godfrey the first time when he fished alongside Dean Macy and be shown the ropes of 3 brilliant anglers, the third being Adam Mooney. It was some experience and it ignited this desire to learn more and come down and do it ourselves. And I'll put a wee clip up. I remember just as it was getting dark, we didn't really have to be off by dark at this point, catching that first barbel where you've done everything, you've set it yourself, tying the rig, putting the bait on, baiting up, casting out, sticking up, everything was done by myself. And it was such a rewarding thing without any assistance, catching that first barbel. And that's what's kept this 2 trips a year coming down here. And it's been brilliant. Apart from the last 2 days it's been pish, to be brutally honest. But that's how the Barbel came to be on Angling 360.
I like the idea of whoever designed this seat. Take the weight off because there ain't much happening today. It's a tough one. Barbel. They're cool fish, aren't they? One of my favourites, quickly becoming one of my favourite sort of coarse species. And before we actually had the chance to come down here fishing for them, it was something that was kind of ticking along in the back of my mind. Never really thought too much about the Trent because in my mind it was miles away. No, it was hundreds and hundreds of miles away. So I was briefly thinking around the rivers like the Ribble, which are a wee bit closer to us, the Swale, things like that. But when Matt Godfrey, sitting at dinner, says, "You ever been barbel fishing?" That was my Matt Godfrey accent. Sorry, Matt. My ears pricked up. I was like, no, I've not, but I would absolutely love to. Because seeing things like Gordon touched on, your classic John Wilson's Passion for Angling, those sort of English-based coarse fishing TV programmes that we all sort of grew up with. I think that's what maybe got my interest in coarse fishing generally, was the fact that it was foreign. We don't have great coarse fishing in Scotland, or at least that's what I thought back at the time. And it was something that I always really wanted to do. I've since realised that Scotland does offer some decent coarse fishing, and we've sort of tried to highlight that as much as possible through these videos. But coming down here, it's a different ballgame. It is fantastic. We came down for 2 days initially with Matt, Dean, and then the second day was with Adam, and we caught fish. We didn't catch a huge amount of fish, but we caught fish. They showed us the ropes. It always helps when you're travelling 600 miles for a trip, 300 there, 300 back, to have someone to show you the ropes, because going in blind to these situations can be quite daunting, and you can find yourself sort of faffing around for 3 days and not catching many fish. So that took the pressure off a wee bit, put the pressure on them a little bit, but they came good, and we managed some lovely fish. After that, however, we thought, you know what, this is doable. It's only a 5-hour drive. Why don't we come down, spend a few days, 3 days at a time, and just build on the knowledge that we sort of picked up from these guys. And that's exactly what we've done. We've kind of stuck. We're kind of in a rut, I would say, personally. It is daunting to come down here and to try something different. But I think that's what we really need to do, because we have just stuck with the exact same methods, the exact same setups that we were shown back then. It's 3-4 years later now, and we've not really progressed much from that. We've not really had to, because it's worked. We've caught some lovely fish. There's some really nice fish. I mean, Gordon touched on it, I think, in the last video, that some of the guys that fish these rivers regularly would be pleased with some of the fish we've caught. It's all down to luck, of course it is, but
Skill,
he says. But there's been no need to sort of deviate away from that. The methods that we do use, I thought that was an alarm there, it's not. Two rods, fishing two rods, one upstream, one downstream. The upstream rod with a big grip cage feeder, 3 ounce, 4 ounce, depending on the flow, filled with pellets, bit of ground bait. Downstream rod, single lead, again, 3-4 ounces, and a single hook bait, and that's pretty much all we do. I've messed around with the setup a little bit. I've tried fishing maggots. I've resorted back to maggots today just to see if that spurs the fish into feeding. But the basics are the same. They're fairly simple but effective techniques. But I think it's time to move on. It's time to progress. In what direction? I'm not too sure. I need to think about that.
So that fence, it's caused many a heartache. I remember the first time, just before we had to drive, again, the driving factor here, the first time we came here, we fished all day and then drove home that night. It was a killer. But this fence, as I say, many a heartache. Alex lost an absolute unit of a fish. Adam Rooney, I think, said that was a huge fish. I've been wrapped around that fence a few times. Alex has had to leap over that fence a few times to try and get us out of a sticky predicament. But I think of all the areas we've fished, this is, as I said this morning, it's where I've got the most confidence. Further up, there's a couple of good swims as well. But the Barbel bonanza day that we had this time last year was incredible. I think the summertime, and I can be corrected here, it's more of a, I feel stupid saying this today, it's more of a numbers game. A lot of smaller fish, and the kind of tail end of the winter, that's when you come down with the hope of catching fewer fish but big chunkier fish. And that has happened like that. I remember last March 2024, I had a similar experience to what I'm having just now. Day 1, day 2, nothing. Day 3, looking like a blank trip. And then in the last hour, I caught a 13 and a, is that a 13 and a 14?
13.8, 13.12.
13.8 and a 13.12. Sorry Alex, it's got a better memory than I. And that 2 hour of fishing, of all the trips down, was just incredible because you're dejected pretty much the way I'm feeling now. And then for it all to come together was just, that was one of them moments. But interestingly enough, Alex's PB came, his first PB came in the summer. You know how big was it, Alex? Last September here.
11.15.
He finally beat his PB and got an 11.15. A beautiful, beautiful fish, long fish. It was chunky for this time of year. But the 2 biggest fish came away upriver. Came in March. Again, a very, very slow day. He was actually targeting the zander. And then I think it was maybe midday he decided, you know what, I'm going to fire out a pellet. I think with half an hour. Screamed off. I'd been sitting barbel fishing all afternoon, all morning. And what was the weight of that fish? 14 on the nose, wasn't it?
15 on the nose.
15 on the nose. 15 pound. Just out of the blue. Beautiful fish. And then again, it just looked like that was going to blank. The day had fizzled out. And then, just as we were packing up, to be fair, it was getting dark. It was still blue on the horizon, but my rod finally buckled over. Managed to land one at 14, which beat my PB from the previous winter. But in terms of what Alex said about the techniques and that, I do agree with him. I think we need to try maybe different rivers or rolling meat or float fishing, try different things. Because this trip's been tough. Hence why we're looking back for inspiration. We have had some stunning fish. It's been good. It's been time tasted at Trent.
Some nice fish there, eh? Some lovely fish. However, he did miss out one of my PBs, which is one of my favourite fish. It was on that same trip. I had 2 PBs on that trip. I had an 11.15 on day 1, and then followed it up on day 3 with a 13.4 and a 13.4 summer fish. Just an absolutely stunning one. I think that's the one he was actually thinking about. But yeah, absolutely. And come to that sort of culmination back in March with a 15 and a 14 in the one session. But all on the same method. So where do we go now? No idea. I like the idea of small rivers, like small, wooded, kind of jungly, sort of intimate rivers where the fish might be fewer in number. You wouldn't think it today, but this river is crammed full of fish. And as Gordon says, on a good summer's day, you can catch numerous fish. But yeah, trickier little venues, smaller rivers, rivers like the Ribble, the Swale in Yorkshire, the Yorkshire Ouse, I think, is another one. And then down south, you've got the River Lee. And I don't know too much about that River Lee, but that holds some massive fish. It's a tricky little river. But I think that's maybe something we need to start looking at. And for a change in venue like that, you need to change your approach. Now, these 2 big rods up on stands, I think they call it carpeling. Someone does. Very similar to carp fishing. But yeah, that's not going to work on these tiny little rivers. So float fishing, rolling meat, like Gordon mentioned, the old centre pin and I don't know, a little chunk of luncheon meat down the margins, hook and hold sort of stuff. That would be fantastic. However, we know nothing about it. We don't know about the venues. We don't know too much about the styles. So if anyone watching this wants to kind of point us in the right direction, please feel free to do so. It's not only Barbel as well. These small rivers, ones that I've mentioned there, great chub fishing, light gear fishing for chub on light gear is something that I quite fancy doing. We've caught chub here. We've caught some nice chub here. Around about the sort of £5 mark. Not quite broke that 6-pounder yet. £5.12 I think is my best. £4.15 I think is Gordon's. I've had a couple around about the 5.5. But it's not really catching them by design. You're catching them on, 2.25 pound test curve rods, 1.75 if you're lucky. But just imagine getting them on a float rod with a centre pin, or a little light feeder rod, little one pound style feeder rod. That's something I quite fancy doing as well. Bream, nah, I'm not fussed about them.
That was some very poor acting by Alex there. Don't fuss about dreaming walks off. Don't be fooled. He's got maggots and hemp and all that there, champing at the bit to get targeting them bream. I think the bream he caught here was, I think he thought it was nearly going to go a double, didn't you?
9.6.
And when it was the far off and we weighed it was £9.6. A proper big dustbin lid. Well, I suppose down here, a fiddler I suppose that. I think some of the bream down these parts go £20 odd. I'm definitely not a fan of bream. The bream I like to target are the ones on Loch Lomond. And they're almost kind of mystical. You know, it's like folk think they catch bream up there, but it's not. They're hybrids. That might spark a debate, but you can tell, or I can tell, that they're definitely hybrids. But the bream here, well, they are impressive fish as bream go. As Alex has mentioned a few times there, a 300-mile trip down, 5 drive, there and back to target bream for me.
Eventually the maggots Nod, nod. I think it might be bream time. Hey, blank's off anyway. If I can get it in, there it is. So it's either a bream, which is what my money's on, or possibly a chub.
I'll go chub.
A chub would be beautiful. However, I think it might be a bream. Very bream-like bite.
I'm not using my new net for a bream.
If it's a chub, I might need a net.
What chub?
What have we got? It's not doing much. So I'm thinking definitely a big bream, or a small bream. It's not big. Oh, 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 oh. He's going for it. It's a bream. No, it's a fish. It's a fish. If these guys are moving in, maybe the chub and barbel will follow. This is a little one. But yeah, the maggots are working. Let's get it back out there. Ah, I was hoping that was going to be a chub. It's a start. It's a start. Right, rebaited. Send it across there. I just came back to my rods there, and just as I approached it, this one screamed off. I thought it was a barbel initially. Now I'm not sure. It was a decent run. Aware of that big bit of weed there. Also aware of my other line. Am I over that line? Am I under that line? I think I'm under it. Right, good. I'm not sure what this is. If it's a barbel, it's a small one. If it's a bream, it's huge. I think it's a small barbel. And if it's a chub, it's an absolute beauty.
What's that on?
This is on the pellet. It's starting to bang its head a bit now. I think it's a barbel. This is my downstream rod. Fish below my feeder and maggots. Yeah, it's a barbel. It's a barbel. Yeah. Doesn't feel overly heavy. This was the rod fished right tight to that far bank. Not really able to get my feeder. Oh, was that a chub?
Wee barbel.
Was that a small barbel? Yeah, fishing right close into that far bank. If it's a barbel, it's absolutely tiny. Was it definitely a barbel?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping that was going to be a massive chub. Fighting a little strong for a chub. Yeah, it's a barbel. I'll take that. Talking to the bailiff, and the bailiff was saying how difficult it's been since March, all summer. Very few fish getting caught, so if I can get this in the net, that's 2 fish in 2 days, and I will take that. Happy with that. Happy with that. Right, usual, let them recover, I'll have a look. said at the beginning of this trip, if I could get a barbel, I actually said if we could get a barbel on each day, I don't mind if it's me, then I'll be happy, because it's been tough. The bailiffs just told us how tough it's been. But you've got to stick at it. Look at that in the water, that's amazing. This one. Just said to me there, I'm not running for a bream. I've had a few. He's been sleeping. I did shout him, but he was not interested. But it looks like there's another one on here. A shoal of bream to feed by the looks of it. Oh, possibly. Yes. This one feels tiny. A little skimmer, I think. Yeah, I had a couple of these now. At least I'm catching fish, but it's not what we're after. I don't even know what this is. I don't know if this is a bream that's coming in very easily. Oh, walking up now. Oh, he's come off. That actually went. That might have been a small chub there, actually. Maybe not. The last bream I did have about 10 minutes ago, I thought it was a chub because they were pretty hard fighting. But what I've done is I've changed my hook bait ever so slightly. I went for a much smaller dumbbell pellet, and the bream seemed to be able to get that in their mouth a lot easier.
So I'll not be using one of them then?
No. But at least there's fish there and there's fish feeding, so hopefully some chub and barbel will move in. Getting on the action. Let's get us back out there.
I'd still rather blank than catch a bream.
Because yeah, still fishing. Still pellets, but slightly smaller. Big river barbel from main line. And I think these are, they're saying 15 mils there.
12, I'd say.
12 by 15. They don't look 12 to 15. God knows what size I was using last time then, because these are a lot smaller. I'll just use the bait needle, try and keep it nice and straight. Slide that on there. And I'm still using the size 10 Super MWG with a little hair. I've modified the size of the hair to suit these new pellets. So this is the standard sort of method that we've spoke about already. Little bait stop. And there. It just sits off the hook nice and neatly. So yeah, it is the standard method that we normally use. Nice long hook length, 4 foot or thereabouts. I've put on the smaller feeder. It's still 4 ounces, so it's a chunky little thing, but it's a lot smaller. I can cast it further, and even now with the feeder, where I was struggling earlier on, I'm now just about managing to get to that far bank. A bit of depth over there, a bit of pace. I'm hoping that's where the majority of the fish are going to be. And I'm just ramming that full of a variety of different size pellets. There's a lot of small ones in there. A couple of random maggots in there as well. A lot of 2 and 3 mils and a lot of ground bait as well. I'm just trying to get that as far out as I possibly can. I'm actually wading out into the river a little bit just to get to that far bank. And then yeah, my second rod just fishing as normal, 20 yards below that, and that's still got the slightly larger hook bait. Maybe change that as well. Nice neat, nice compact, not a huge amount of bait in it, but there's not a huge amount of fish to feed, and it's working for the bream anyway.
Let's just try to take it up. You know, it's like times like that, you start to question everything they're doing. What I really struggle with is a motivation. But I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick to the Barbel o'clock time. We need to be off here for about 7:30, 8:15. I'm going to bring these rods in, we bait them, get them back out, put 5 or 6 feeder fulls out, and then pray to the Barbel gods, if there is such a thing. I'm no fussed about bream. I know Alex is secretly hoping a chub's going to come in and pick up the smaller pellet or the bunch of maggots, but my little knowledge of that style of fishing from watching other channels, bit of research and such, when you start introducing all the smaller particles and maggots, it's just a magnet for breaming. I genuinely would rather plank than catch bream. Right, let's do this. Feels like a good fish by the way.
That one I just lost it a good one.
Eh?
That one I just lost it a good one.
See while it's still out there, do you want to go and get the net?
Back.
So she's been away. I've barely been able to move this. I think it's over. My other lines from there, do this. Oh, got two again. And away for that.
What?
Fucking fence.
He does run.
I hope I've cleared another line, but I don't think I have. Might be a problem.
It's over your line.
Back again.
No, I think it's all tangled in it. Don't worry about it.
I'm worried about it. Luckily waiting 2 days for this one. I genuinely did. I started backing up. I genuinely didn't think this was going to happen. You see, a big bloody bream. Cool. You're going to wait one fish. That's the one you want to wait on. I'm going to land it with my new net.
That's a big fish, man.
Two sharks. We've had told you about sea shit like that.
That looks like a nice one.
These long nets on these at the end of the day. Oh, you got big on that. What's the fact you do it? Yes! That's a beauty. I've earned that. I have deserved that. Oh, magic. Oh, I'm glad I stuck to my guns now. Right, let's go and get a closer look at this. There we go, 2 days in the making. Please tell me I get nice photos, Alex. I've never had a fish pose like this before. Trent Barbel. Alex is getting her in. This is where I need to go back in the net.
Put it in the net, I'll go and get it.
Yeah, go and get that.
Well, it's all kicked off. Just dealing with Gordon's fish in the net there. Getting some photos, and this one tears off, but it's another barbel. Madness. Wait all day, and it just kicks off. That's why you need to stick with it. Try and keep the confidence high. Try and keep working. I don't know if 2 fish are going to fit in that net, however. This one doesn't seem that big. Chaos. I'm trying not to lose this one. All we need now is for Gordon's second rod to go. That back in the car. Oh. This one is fighting a little better than the last 2 I've had today, so it might be a slightly better fish. That is one thing I will say though, is the fish don't fight nearly as hard as when there's a bit of water on. They just can't quite use that flow to their advantage. Still great fun, and they still put a bend in the rod. I think he's only a wee one, just a spirited one. He's keeping his head down though. Let's see, yeah, here he is. Yeah, much smaller than Gordon's, unfortunately. Nice one. Barbel o'clock, apparently.
We'll get up with the fin, look, get right close up in the fin. A brace of Trent Barbel. I'm glad to report mine's is a bigger one. I'm only going to get one this trip. There's Alex's. He's had several fish today, so. Look at that fish. My favourite shot, the water shot. This one hitting off it. One last look. Maybe the last one I get. Beautiful. There you go, big guy. Yes. I'm not saying what I said in the perch video because that came to fruition. If that's the only fish I get, I'll be happy. No, I'll be raging. I said that in the perch video and that's exactly what happened. So, the first one's on the board. Let's get the rods back out. I'll need to unpack my gear.
I think we have another bream. Or could it be a chub? It'd be nice to finish on a chub. Who knows? Not Barbel anyway. Thinking bream, but we'll go down and treat it like it might be a chub just in case. I'll walk down. This is a bream. It's the hardest fighting bream I've ever hooked. hoping this is a nice chub. It has to be. Or is it a really small barbel maybe?
Throw in zander and pike and all while you're
Could
at
be.
it.
It could be a catfish.
Sturgeon.
It's digging for the bottom. What is this?
Carp maybe? Carp have been known to be caught here. Barbel.
Is that a barbel? Jesus. I was really hoping that was going to be a big chub. No such luck.
Listen to you disappointed with a barbel.
Look at the size of it. It's like £2. Ah. It'd have been nice to finish on a chub, but it's a lovely little fish. I like seeing them when they're that size. I've said it before. Let's have a look. Well, not the chub I was hoping for, but it is a lively, tiny little barbel. Barbel number 4 for me today. 5.
Who cares?
I'll count it when I go home. Nice. He's not hanging around. Time for one more? Probably not.
Well, I'm not going to lie. That was a relief. There's nothing worse than getting into the third day, your last day, and you've not caught a fish. However, with that said, catching a fish in the last hour of your last day is some buzz. But that was a welcome relief. As I said earlier, when you start to doubt if you're doing the right thing, if you're casting in the right spot, should you be tighter to the far bank, should you be in another completely part of the river. I was sitting flicking through some of the Facebook groups on the Trent, and there's guys catching 20 fish further upstream. Guys catching 12, 13 fish, 4, 5 fish, and you're like, what are we doing wrong? Or what am I doing wrong? But that was a nice fish. I'm really, really happy with that. Alex actually got some stunning photos, and for very rare the sun comes out for my photos. I think we've got a couple of nice photos of that fish as well. That's all we can ask for, innit? Nice memories. Alex has done well with the bream. No my cup of tea. I'm not going to lie, I missed a few of them because I was sleeping and I didn't hear them. We are fishing quite a distance apart. Nobody's really fussed about bream, are they? It's Jeff for Alex. And I get why he does it. He tries to winkle out a chub, and it would be nice to see more chub, but we don't. I don't know if you can target them a wee bit more specifically down here, but we come for the barbel with the hope of a few other different species. Half-arsed the perch and the zander, and that didn't really come to fruition, but a much better day than yesterday, or the first video that you've maybe watched. If you've no, back and watch that. Alex gets a couple of nice fish, sorry. So that sun has now went behind them trees. It is now going on to 7:15, so we've got 20 minutes to make it up to that gate before folks start moaning that we're fishing on there in the dark. So nice to see the bailiff again today. He gave us a wee tip for the morrow, so we'll have a wee celebratory beer and a whiskey tonight and mull over if we're going to do or take him up on his advice. So if we do, we'll see you there tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.